After a relationship with a narcissist ends, it's normal for you to have constant intrusive thoughts about them, for your mind to keep wanting to go back over the relationship, to review everything that happened in that relationship. What's happening is your mind is trying to make sense of the new narrative. And so, as you know, when you're in cognitive dissonance, you have two conflicting narratives in your mind at the same time about who this person is. But when you have a moment of clarity, when you see them clearly and not just understand who they are on an intellectual level, but you understand who they are on a heart level, and it breaks your heart and you see them clearly, what happens is your mind embraces the truth. It embraces the true narrative of who they are. But the problem with that clarity, the problem with the insight, is that there are a lot of fragments within that new narrative, holes in the story that your mind wants to make sense of. What's in the mind and what's understood in the heart does not match the emotional context of your memories. And as long as the emotional context of your memories do not match the new narrative that's in your mind, you will experience cognitive dissonance and you will experience rumination. So the question becomes, how do you get the emotional context that is in your past, in your memories, to match the new narrative that's in your mind? It's analogous to the movie The Sixth Sense, where Bruce Willis plays this psychologist, and this psychologist believes that he's running a practice and that he's got a job and he's got clients and all of this stuff. Now, he and the audience, what they don't know, and they don't find out until about the last 5 minutes of the movie, is that he is actually dead. When he finds this out, he has a moment of clarity. And in that moment of clarity, when he has that realization, the director of the movie makes a choice, because he understood that the audience, when this moment of clarity came and the audience found out that the protagonist was actually dead during the entire movie, the audience would not be able to move on with the final part of the movie and just enjoy the final part of the movie without having some sort of explanation for how they were able to miss the things that indicated that he was actually dead. And so the choice that the director made at the end part of the movie was to have all of the moments throughout the movie that indicated that the protagonist was dead to flash onto the screen so that the audience could see everything they missed, process it, and move on with the rest of the movie. That's where your mind is when you're stuck in rumination. The mind is trying to connect the dots. It's trying to put all the puzzle pieces together for everything you missed in that relationship to make the emotional context of your memories match the new narrative that you have. So just as a practical example, under the old narrative where you believed this person loved you, the narcissist loved you, cared about you, they were kind, they were affectionate, and they were all those things that you wanted them to be, all those things that you projected onto them. Now, when you looked at them through that lens, you trusted them. So just as an example, and everybody will have a different example. And just in case you're new here, my name is Ken Washington. I'm a narcissistic abuse educator and a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. And you can click the link in my bio for one-on-one sessions if you want to book a one-on-one. But everybody's example will be different. Let's say, for example, you came home unexpectedly one day and you found the narcissist alone with someone of the opposite sex. They didn't tell you that that person was going to be there. It got a little awkward when you came in, and the person left suddenly after you arrived. Now, under the old narrative, looking through the lens of love and, what you were projecting onto them, you might have said, okay, we need to have a conversation about boundaries and limits and not having people come over. But you might not have thought this person was being unfaithful, that they were cheating and having an affair. You might not have thought that because you were viewing that event through the lens of the old narrative, trust and love and all of that stuff, because you were led to believe that the narcissist was someone other than who they actually were. Now, with the moment of clarity, when you see them for who they really are, and you understand their character, and you understand that you were not in a love story, you were not in a drama, but you were in a psychological horror, you have to revisit moments like that. And you have to view that moment through the lens of clarity, through the lens of truth. And you reprocess that memory and you understand the pain and you feel the pain associated with that memory under the truth of the new context, under the truth of the new narrative. And when you do that, the emotional memory that you have matches the cognitive understanding that you have about who this person is, this new clarity that you have. And it balances out what you remember in your memory with what you now know in your mind. And what you have to do is you have to revisit each memory, each questionable memory that changes the emotional context of the relationship. You have to revisit those under the lens of the new narrative. It's analogous to a judge who's been found to be dirty. He's corrupt. He's dishonest. And now you have to go back through all of his cases and reevaluate them, look at the evidence to determine whether or not a fair decision was made in each one of those cases.